What is poppin', people, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is well, and I hope you're all digging the Sith Jedi look that I've got going on. Anyway, today's video is going to be on whether you should specialize in a certain style or whether you shouldn't. Well, it's not technically saying whether you should or whether you shouldn't. It's just strictly giving you the pros and the cons so you can make up your own mind as to whether to specialize or not. So guys, roll that intro. I've been in your waters. Okay guys, so before we get started, please let me know in the comments of whether you're liking this moodier look or not. I do have a black background and I don't have a backlight at the moment, so it's looking pretty moody. But if it's looking too moody, definitely drop it in the comments below and let me know. But guys, the pros and cons of specializing in a particular style. I have no particular format about which way I'm going to do this, so I figured the best way to do it is just roll off all the cons and then roll off all the pros and then just have a little bit of a conclusion at the end. I say roll them all off. Now, I'm not going to roll off every single con and every single pro, but I will definitely give you just a few to help you in your decision of whether you want to specialize as a tattoo artist or not. So guys, here's the first con. Say you have 10 styles of tattooing. Now we'll say 10 because it's a nice round number and it's easy to work around my percentages. So say we have 10 styles and you only pick one style. Immediately, all you've done there by picking one style is take a 100% market and give you 10% of that market. So you have just alienated 90% of your clientele straight off the bat. As soon as you decide to specialize, that is essentially what you are doing. You are eliminating a ton of clientele. But not only that, say that you are a particular tattooist that's wanting to specialize in a particular style and then you only like to tattoo a particular area. Your 10% then has gone down to maybe 2% because let's say not everybody wants a tattoo on a forearm, for example, and you may only want to do forearms. You may want a full Instagram page full of just your style. Like, especially this day and age, people like to have a certain look to their social media, and let's say you hypothetically wanted to do that, then you have just cut your 10% drastically down even further to, let's say, 2 or 3 or 4%. So guys, by doing all that, you have just made it way harder for yourself to get a clientele. So I highly recommend you keep that in mind. But not only that, maybe the particular style that you are wanting to get into is a fad and it's not going to be around for a long time. You may think at the time that it's going to be around, but in a year's time, nobody may even want the type of tattoo that you're doing. So that's another con to take into account. Obviously the numbers will differ depending on your choices, but there is just a hypothetical situation for you, which takes me into my next con, which is over the years a particular style progresses. So what's going to happen is all these styles that are progressing and that's leaving you behind in that particular style, it's just going to get so far in front of you that if it comes to a time where you actually have to do this style, you are not going to know anything about what to do. You may not be in a position where you are stable enough to be able to do your style day in, day out, and sometimes you may have to do another style to earn some money. If you have a family and you're only concentrating on one single style, and then that style dries up or work dries up, and then you start to need to push other things for money, you are going to have no idea on how to do it, so you won't be able to earn any money unless you go back to absolute bare basics. Which brings me straight onto the next tip of forgetting the basics. If you concentrate on one style and one style day in, day out, then you will forget how to do these basics. And if that style dries up or work dries up for that particular style that you are doing, and you need to go back and start doing basic tattooing again and doing all the little walking stuff, little tight script and all that jazz, you're not going to be able to do it, or you're going to struggle at doing it. If you're doing realism constantly and then it dries up and then somebody comes in for some tight script on a rib, trust me when I say that that is going to be so difficult for you because you've not done it for that long. So forgetting the basics is a big thing you have to watch out for if you are going to specialize. Now say you have chose to specialize, what also now that you have to deal with is being pigeonholed into that particular thing. You may do more things, like you may be a realism artist, but you may do script, for example. But people know you as a realism artist, so what they do is they go elsewhere, not knowing that you do these other things also. So you've also lost potential clients that way. To them, all they're thinking is, I'm not going to go to such and such, he only does portraits, or he only does roses. So the client doesn't see you putting out these other things, so they automatically assume that you just do one thing. So that is definitely another one to look out for. Also guys, another con is maybe you are trying to develop a style that only caters to a select amount of people. Now if you don't have a big Instagram following, or you do not have a big following, and you're trying to do a design that only caters to one guy over the left, that's only one client that you're going to get. And he's gonna go off and he's gonna show somebody else his tattoo, and they may not necessarily like your style of work and that style that you are pushing. So unless you have a big audience to be able to push out that style, where that one guy becomes 10 people or 15 or 20 people, you know, it's just not gonna work out for you, and you are gonna find it so hard to push a style that not everybody may like. Right dudes, that is some cons for you. So let's shift away from the negativity of that and bring in some pros. The first pro of specializing would be being able to concentrate 110% on a particular style or a particular thing that you want to do. When you are concentrating 110% on something and you are doing that, just that, day in, day out, you will get really good at doing that thing that you love to do. Which brings me on to my next pro, which is because you are doing everything that you love to do, you are happier in your job. You're happier at home, you're happier in your personal life, and you are happier at work because your job is your hobby when you are doing the things that you love to do day in, day out. But not only that, you have more of a choice over your clients also. When a client comes to you, they may show you something, and then you have the opportunity then to say, can I make this work in my particular style? You get to be a little bit more picky over the type of work you're doing, and if you cannot make it your style, or you cannot make it how you want it to look, then you can just turn that down. Don't get me wrong, you can turn work down anyway, but I do believe that when you are specializing, you definitely have more of a choice over the type of work that you are doing, rather than somebody who is not specializing and just does everything. I hope that makes sense. It's really hard for me to convey it the way I want to convey it, so I do hope that that makes sense. So after all those cons that we started with and all those pros, I think it's easy to sum it up this way. Everything that I mentioned on the cons is what will make you an all-round tattoo artist. But everything I mentioned on the pros is what will make you the happier tattoo artist. So it's up to you whether you choose between being an all-rounder or being generally happy. I'm not saying that you can't be generally happy by being an all-rounder also, but I do believe that when you specifically love to do your style and you like to do what you like to do, that you will be even happier. I really hope that makes sense. But before we leave this video guys, please check out my tattoo tips playlist and my other Chris Ravage uploads. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel just because you should subscribe, so do it now. What are you waiting for? Press it. There we go. Turn on bell notifications to get notified every time I upload a new video. As always, I shall see you all in the next one. Adios.